Hey, how's it going, everyone? It's Saturday again, so you know what that means. Album of the year time. And today we're going to be going with 1972, another really big year in music history, which all of the years of the 70s are. But we got Nick here again to join us. How are you doing today?
Good, 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 good.
All
Almost
right.
reaching, almost reaching 1973, which is another great year.
1973 is, oh my goodness, it's like every one of these years in the 70s is going to be really big. But I have a great thing to announce. We are 7 away from 200 subscribers on the channel, and that's crazy because it feels like I just got 100, but that's really amazing. So hopefully we'll reach 200, and when we get there, I'll see if I can do something big, maybe like a live Q&A with the Trippy Hippie or something. I don't know, but I'll do something big, review a big album or something like that. But today we're going to be doing, as usual, album of the year. The year is 1972. For those who aren't familiar with our format, we go through our third favorite album, second favorite album, some honorable mentions, and then we list our album of the year. And that's kind of how it goes. So let's go ahead and get in with number three.
My number three is gonna be it's gonna be an album that I not just recently listened to, but it's an album that I definitely should have been more familiar with before getting into this year, which is "Can't Buy a Thrill." Uh, great album. "Do It Again" is really good. "Dirty Work" is definitely one of the best. "Midnight Cruiser" is my favorite song by them. Only a Fool would say that is great. Reeling in the Years is amazing. Brooklyn's really good. Change with Guard is really good. Turn That Heartbeat Again. This is definitely one of their definitely a perfect album to listen to and a really good way to introduce yourself to a great band.
All right. My number three is Honky Chateau by Elton John. This album is a really cool packaging. You open it up, and there's like a flap on the back. But as for the music itself, really great stuff. Starts off with the song Honky Cat, rollicking honky tonk sound and piano. That's really great. Mellow is a really underrated song and features the electric violin. Susie Dramas is really good. Of course, it's got the big hit Rocket Man. That song is amazing. Slave is good. Amy is this kind of old school rock and sound. Mona Lisa's and Mad Hatters, I think, is my favorite song on this album. And then it ends with Hercules. So number three is Honky Chateau by Elton John.
Yeah, it's a great album. Uh, my number two is going to be by Stevie Wonder. Uh, Music of My Mind. This was like the start of well, I think I said it in the last video with the where I'm coming from, but this was like really just the start of something beautiful with this artist and just him because his contract ended with Motown and he's like, well, if you want me to join back, one, I'm gonna want more royalties, which it was a small number, but for artists like Stevie Wonder at the time, it was like an unheard of number. It was like 8% or something, and I forgot which number it was. And another thing was I want to have creative control over my music, and they're like they reluctantly did it because Stevie Wonder was like big at the time, even before he did his his crazy Wonder years, and it's such a great album. Love is love love having you around is really good. Superwoman is really good, really great medley. It's like one song going into another. Uh, I love every little thing about you. So good. Sweet Little Girl is great four songs. Flip over to side two, and you get another great track listing. Happier Than the Morning Sun is really good. Girl Blue is amazing. Really great vocal effect. This whole album is just a burst of creative control, burst of creativity. It's not as good as his albums that would come afterwards, but this is I can't deny this is just an amazing record to start your your creative years, your wonder years, the classic period. So many nicknames for this period of just great albums, and yeah, number two, Music of My Mind.
All right, my number two is an album that I heard just last year, introduced by a friend. Thick as a Brick by Jethro Tull. was introduced by my friend Jeremy. We ranked it and reviewed it on one of our videos. I had never heard it before. And what's funny is that in this video, I actually gave it a higher score than my number one album of 1972. That's changed. This album is technically more impressive, but I would probably give my number one album a higher score now. This particular album here is interesting because the whole album is one song. There's lots of great musicianship on this record. Really great guitar playing, of course. Ian Anderson is known for playing the flute, so there's really cool flute playing, great drumming. It's just like a one continuous 45-minute piece of music that's just kind of mind-blowing. So that's my number two album of 1972.
Okay. Honorable mentions. Don't be mad. Not many. Obscured by Clouds is one of them. Such a really underrated Pink Floyd album. Definitely gets overshadowed by the one that came before it, which is Metal, and then the one that comes after it, which is Dark Side of the Moon. Very underrated album. I really enjoy it. What's another one? Looking through all the albums of the year. David Bowie, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust. That's a great album. I love that album to death. Really great album. Not one of. I would consider it to be my top 3 of the year. Maybe after listening for it a while, I might. This one's not. This next one I'm going to mention isn't even close, but Exile on Main Street I love. Like the best tracks of course, but the worst tracks. I know a lot of Rolling Stone fans will be like, the whole album's perfect. What are you talking about? But no, it's not perfect. It's anything but perfect. But the best tracks are so good. You know, I have to mention it though. It's definitely not a top 3 though. But yeah. But my number 1 though is gonna be Stevie Wonder's Talking Book. Yeah, I wanted to do when doing this, like do like one artist only for these top 3s, like one for one, like so that other artists get their share. But this album, these 2 albums are so good, and this is no exception. This album is just amazing. You know, has the big hit "You Are the Sunshine of My Life," "Superstition." Those 2 songs are just very iconic. That you don't even have to be a Stevie Wonder fan to know those songs. Maybe Your Baby, I'm not crazy about. It's good, but it's not their best. You and I is amazing. You can conquer the world. Tuesday Heartbreak, I love. You Got a Bad Girl is good. Then side 2 is just side 1's great, but side 2 just gets amazing. You know, starts off with Superstition, like I said, is really iconic. Then that song goes into Big Brother, which is amazing. Then that song goes into Blame It on the Sun, which is really good. Then that song goes into I forgot the next song. Looking for Another Pure Love is great, and then that song just goes into I Believe. Those songs, what I mean like that is like instead of it like fading out and then going to the next song, it like basically it's like one big track, basically. Really good. I like to call it the Talking Book medley.
Okay.
That's what it reminds me of.
All right, my honorable mentions: "Close to the Edge" by Yes, "Talking Book" by Stevie Wonder. You mentioned it. "The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust" by David Bowie. "Chicago 5," "Toulouse Street" by the Doobie Brothers. "Machine Head" by Deep Purple, and "Foxtrot" by Genesis. And my number 1 album, and this is going to come as no surprise, is "Can't Buy a Thrill" by Steely Dan. This album is amazing, has lots of great musicianship. This is back in Steely Dan's band years, when they were more of a group effort. This is the only album you get David Palmer singing on. Starts off really well with "Do It Again." I love the sitar solo on that one. And then you get "Dirty Work," which is a good David Palmer-led song. "Kings" is good. "Midnight Cruiser" is amazing. "Only a Fool Would Say That" is one of my favorite songs on this album. I love just the chill, relaxed vibe of it. "Reeling in the Years," amazing, great guitar work. "Fire in the Hole," I love the piano on that one. Brooklyn was my least favorite on this album, but it's getting to be one of my favorites now. Change of the Guard, really great, and Turn That Heartbeat Over Again, really great. So my number one album, Steely Dan.
Up on the hill. Every time
Not
I
yet.
think of that opening line from Asia. Up on the hill.
Up on the hill, they got time to spare. They just don't care. Bling. Do do do. Do do. In the corner of my eye, I saw you in Rudy's. You were very high. You were high. All right. Well, that's going to be the end of our 1972 stream. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week for another really big year, 1973. Oh.